going on, Jerome's? Beautiful Saturday, birds are chirping and stuff, and also, divisional round going on down today. And please, Ravens, because my Ravens, I have winning the Super Bowl, and preferably if they cover against the Niners in the Super Bowl, would be kind of good. And then the second game today is the Greasy Grimy Green Bay Packers with all of the hype. Everyone's ass is on the Packers plus 9.5, plus 10 in some spots, but the Niners just please lay waste to all of the narratives. It would just be fantastic, glorious, man. Plus, NFL fashion advice, great follow on the old Twitter machine, really points out that the uniform matchups are going to be elite. So the Texans in the regular road uniforms, which I always thought are pretty sharp, and then the Ravens going black, purple, black, which I know the Vikings can't really do it now because it would be a little bit of copying, but also how the Ravens pick purple. But if the Vikings incorporated more black into the uniform, it would look good. It would look good, man. Packers, whatever. Niners, classic. The Bucks going white pewter, which is good. I believe the Lions are going unitard blue. So there you go. Chiefs, regular road red. The Chiefs-Bills uniform matchup is just good. It's just the red and the blue and the white just looks good. The white. It's looking good, man. So we got that going on for us, which is nice. Also, we got going on the Super Bowl, the pregame performances. So halftime is going to be Ursher and friends, and pregame is going to be Reba and Post Malone doing the damn thing, as well as Andra Day doing all the various pregame songs. And I always love Reba. Like Reba is in the pantheon of country singers, is super underrated. Plus, I'm not gonna lie, the Reba sitcom was actually pretty good. Like Nick Switcher's wife, I think was the daughter. I mean, it was a good show, man. Also, one of my favorite references from Ted Lasso is when Roy is coming back to Nelson Road and he can't get in because they don't recognize him. So he goes to Will Call's like, I believe you're holding 2 tickets for Reba McEntire. Just a great scene. I love Ted Lasso. So with Ted Lasso, part of me is glad that they're done after 3 seasons. Part of me wish they would come back. But is it a spot where the series is perfect and you'll always remember it? And I feel like TV is a weird thing because, yes, you want to maximize every single dollar. But the remembering how great a series was is that you always want your fans wanting more. Whereas like The Office should have ended when Michael Scott left. But this sort of went viral is, as someone pointed out, that the TV, something on Vancouver Island, but this is like a TV preview show. Is this like the TV Guide channel? But the preview for the Super Bowl, Reba McEntire, Ursher, and Post Malone are slated to perform at San Francisco 49ers and Baltimore Ravens Super Bowl matchup on February 11th. So people always pointing out, hey, the league is scripted, hey, this, that, or the other thing, but I don't know. Like, if this comes to fruition, it'd be kind of crazy. Now, what they probably did is whoever wrote this probably just needed to plug and play some teams, so they just picked the 1 seeds. So I don't know, man. Now, if it was a screwball, like if it was, say, Ravens and Buccaneers, then you could raise an eyebrow. Also raise an eyebrow. So the Falcons are in a good spot. So the Falcons have $50 million in cap space. They have a top 10 draft pick. They got weapons all over the place on defense and especially on offense with Bajan and Drake London and also Kyle Pitts. But also got a pretty decent tackle combo with Matthews and McGarry. But it seems like Belichick is going to be the guy there. They had a second interview. Now Harbaugh is getting in. Apparently the Falcons are going to have a second interview with him. But it's pretty clear that the Falcons' job is the most coveted one this offseason. Now the Falcons are just a quarterback away. And Belichick, if he takes that job, he wants to win now. Maybe he doesn't want to pussyfoot around with a rookie quarterback. So Kirk Cousins plugging and playing with the Falcons turns them into an immediate contender. Not only in that bit of a cakewalk division, but also in the conference as a whole. And I don't know, like I do think that Kirk would want to be back. But if the Falcons just completely break the bank, I mean, it's going to be hard to say no. Plus, Kirk and the wife with ties with Georgia, and it'd be so weird. Like all of the Kirk Cousins haters and the losers. Like if Kirk goes to Atlanta, wins a Super Bowl with Bill Belichick, is like, what are they gonna say? Oh, Falcons have more weapons than the Vikings. Shut up. No. It's ridiculous, but could honestly see that happening. Like, I don't see him leaving, going to Pittsburgh, but would he leave for Atlanta if Belichick goes there, especially with Kirk's comment about, playing for Belichick? I guess I could see that. Something I also see. So KJ and Kirko did up a Bounty Towels commercial where they talk about watching the game, having some wings, which obviously this thing was filmed a long time ago. So they were just planning for the Vikings to be watching the big game at home, which is just makes you feel good. Make me feel good. But Kirk and KJ were talking about sauces. And so for me, chicken wings, like, you want it to be an enjoyable experience. Now, I lack some spice, but if we're talking about like Carolina Reaper, Ghost Pepper, blah blah blah, that's a little bit much. I draw the line at like just north of habanero. Like, you want some spice so that you know that you're alive, but also you want to actually like taste the chicken. You actually want to enjoy eating the wings, so it's not just consumption of hot. But Kirk, of course, he ain't moving up the Scoville scale very high. So the line from the video was, "See, the honey barbecue is already making my lips a little bit on fire," which is great, man. So full disclosure, my wife is about as white as Kirk. Like talking about like completely like. Yeah. And so my kids are half and half. Now, my kids, the boy takes a little bit of spicy, the girl not so much, and the wife definitely not. And so funny, like, we made up like these barbecue sandwiches, like pulled pork sandwiches a couple weeks ago, and it was just, so proper barbecue, you don't need sauce. Argument for another day. But we just got the off the rack or off the shelf, like, Baby Ray's barbecue sauce, not even the spicy, just literally like hickory barbecue. And the daughter, what's up, Sylvie? The daughter and the wife just complains like, it's too hot. It's got some zest to it. Get out of here, man. What? I'm always so I make a good jambalaya and I make a good gumbo, right? And of course, with Cajun food, you got to have a little heat. You got to have a little spice, but I have to omit all the good. I have to omit all the cayenne. I have to eliminate everything with flavor because otherwise most of my household could not consume it. For shame, man. Also for shame. So, Punted Ricky Spielman. So, Spielman, GM for a number of years with the Vikings. So he never really got it right with the quarterback. Now, yes, he did sign Kirk and re-sign Kirk, and Kirk, frankly, has been the best quarterback for the Vikings since probably Dante. But he was part of the T-Jack draft, rest in power. He was part of Christian Ponder. He was part of Teddy, and that would have worked out if Teddy's leg didn't fall off. But Rick and quarterbacks, I don't know, man. But he's been doing good work with CBS. And Rick Spielman, all right, so ML Football pointed this out. Former NFL GM Rick Spielman ranks which quarterbacks from the 2020 class he'd want to lead his team over the next 5 years. So Jordan Love, jumping Joe Burrow, Herbert, Hurts, and Tua. So, Jordan Love, late first-round pick. Burrow, obviously number 1 overall. Herbert and Tua went 6 and 5, respectively, and Jalen Hurts was a second-round pick. But Spielman ranked him Jordan Love above Joe Burrow, above Justin Herbert, above Jalen Hurts, and above Tua. Now, Burrow and Hurts have gone to a Super Bowl, and frankly, Burrow probably should have won a Super Bowl. Because, if Burrow's offensive line just holds up a quarter second longer and he sees Chase on that wide open 9 route, we got a walk-off bomb to win the Super Bowl. But I feel like this list has a ton of recency bias in it, where Tua was ass, thank you, against the Chiefs. Jalen Hurts was ass, thank you, against the Buccaneers. Herbert was hurt this year and also didn't really get a ton of help from his supporting cast, but he's still up there. Jumping Joe Burrow got hurt. But for me, Burrow is still top 3 in terms of quarterbacks in this league. And Jordan Love is, okay, Jordan Love has had a third of a good season of football. He sat on the bench for 3 years, and remember, he was asked thank you for the first half of the year, but now it's starting to catch fire and respect. He really took it to the Cowboys. Congratulations. But I don't know, like Rick, bro. I mean, like, you're really going to take Jordan Love over Joe Burrow? You're really going to take Jordan Love over Justin Herbert? And it's always the question is like, are these quarterbacks in a vacuum, or are these quarterbacks judged in their current situation? Because I mean, Jordan Love, yes, I mean he's got young pass catchers. Except I mean, Jane Reed's pretty damn good. Dubs is pretty damn good. Watson, when he's healthy, is a guy. Joe Burrow with Higgins for the moment in time, as well as Boyd, and of course with Jamar Chase. Herbert, his targets are certainly aging out quite a bit, and Mike Williams can't stay healthy. And Hurts has A.J. Brown for now, or Devonta. What's it going to be? And Tua, of course, has Jalen, has Waddle and Tyreek. So I don't know, man. Like this is such a prisoner of the moment. Plus, I feel like this is a little bit of a dig at the Vikings. Like, hey, you know who I would take? Jordan Love. Come on, Rick. Come on, man. Yeah. So speaking of the Vikings, it was interesting. So Ben Gessling, Star Tribune. The Vikings announced they're letting go of head athletic trainer Uriah Myrie after 2 seasons. Tyler Williams, the team's VP of Player Health and Performance, will work with the top officials in the football department on the staff structure for 2024. So it's interesting because for many years, Eric Sugarman had been the certified head athletic trainer for the Vikings. Like, Sugarman was here even before the Wilfs bought the team. He was here during the Red McCombs era. But it's interesting because generally, like, once a regime has their athletic trainer in place, like they stick around for quite a few years. But after 2 years, letting him go, and what's interesting is that the team pointed out this is not about 2023 injuries. Well, then what the hell is it about? I mean, as athletic trainer, like what is your job? Now, obviously, he can't prevent initial injuries, but it did seem like guys were out a little bit longer than you would expect with injuries. Not just talking about Justin Jefferson, but other dudes as well. Plus, it seems like players had recurring injuries, whether it be Darrisaw, whether it be Marcus Davenport. And, of course, part of that is not on the trainer, but what about the recovery period? And we always said, like, the Vikings take things very cautiously with injuries. Is there something more to that? I don't know, man. But again, it's weird, and I mean the team just wants you to think that this is normal. It's not really. It's not really normal. But the Vikings will have their third different head athletic trainer in all likelihood in 4 seasons. It's quite a bit of turnover in that spot. But if the Vikings can get into a spot where they're not only preventing injuries, but they're treating them so they don't recur, and guys' recovery time is amped up. I mean, that's something that people don't like to talk about. That injury puck luck is a major factor in team success in a given season. So hopefully the Vikings can get back to that next year, because they definitely didn't have that this year, man. Something they did have this year was Harrison frickin' Phillips, man. So we said we love Harrison Phillips. He played his ass off this season, but he's not a nose tackle, right? Playing him at 4-tech, 5-tech would be better, but Vikes fan page, Vikings nose guard. We need to bring back nose guard as a term. It is old school. I love it. Harrison Phillips this season, 92 tackles, second among defensive linemen, 45 run stops, first in the NFL, 18.5% run stop rate, first in the league. Harrison Phillips now has the highest career run stop rate at 15.4% since he entered the league in 2018. So all that is pretty damn good. But imagine if he's doing that work, and you have a 350, 340-pound dude right next to him absorbing multiple linemen and absorbing multiple gaps. I just want to see that, because I think that we could still see more out of Harrison Phillips. I think he's been unsung. I think that he's been underrated, but he's a stud. Now get him some help along that defensive line, man. Also, so the Raiders really screwed things up. So when they had an interim head coach previously with Rich Bisaccia, who's now the Packers special teams coordinator, like, he was great. He had the locker room. He was a leader of men, but Mark Davis wanted the flash and pomp and circumstance. They hired Josh McDaniels, which obviously did not work out. McDaniels was let go after the Raiders got trounced by the Lions, and McDaniels was not liked. And Antonio Pierce came in, and he won over the locker room. He's a true leader of men. They went 5-4 under his tutelage. And I mean, Devonta Adams said that he wanted Phillips, Antonio Pierce to be there, and also Max Crosby said that he would request a trade if Antonio Pierce wasn't named the head coach. So now AP is getting the job, man. And I like that. Davis didn't go off the deep end. Like I thought that Harbaugh could have been in play for the Raiders, just trying to make that big time splash. But I mean, they're still paying off Gruden, so maybe that factors in too. But I think Pierce is going to be that great guy. I think that they're going to build up a good defense. I think that if they find a quarterback, I think this team could actually do a little something, even in a rather stacked AFC West. But that's it. That is it. Ooh, Reba. There you go. That's Vikings news dump on this beautiful Saturday. You know what to do. Skull production value.